Hello right bags, it's Jade. Welcome to a special ARK video reminding you that you've only got 15 hours or so to go and vote for what could potentially be the next official mod. Valguero won this competition last year in October-November time, and it went on to become a mod for Xbox, PlayStation and PC, officially supported by wildcards. In the past, Ragnarok also won and it became a future mod and the centre map. So there is a real good chance that one of the mods I've been showing you over the last few weeks could come to console in the future. Not a guarantee, but if we actually vote and show wildcard we really want the mods, maybe they can actually do something about it. Go and vote right now. 15 hours to go. Sign in to Survive the ARK forums. You can set up an account using your PlayStation or Xbox account. It's super quick and easy. And go and vote and help these modders. These modders create so much content for absolutely free. Only some of them get any sort of money or bonuses from wildcard for being in the sponsored mod program. And so a lot of these guys work hours and hours on these mods. And all the PC streamers, all the PC YouTubers, they use so many of these. So it's about time we actually recognise the work they do and not just the tubers that actually play the game. So kicking off, let's go. Brief, quick, one go. Paintable furniture is a crazy little fun mod. Go ahead and make your ARK a living modern dream. You can literally place sort of these nice blank walls. You can put pictures up, you can paint and do so much with it. You can customize lots of details and effects. It's a really colourful, really fun mod, and I think it does really well for people that just want a bit of a mix up from the boring wood and stone of ARK Survival Evolved. There's plenty of building mods out there, but I like the fact that this one does something just a bit more different. It's not trying to be this ultra medieval look. It's trying to be modern. It might not always blend as well in ARK Survival Evolved, but it depends what you're building. I remember seeing creators make modern houses in ARK, particularly people like Timmy Carbine and Aaron Longstaff, and they just look fantastic. I think this sort of stuff goes really well. So if you're a role player, you're someone that has a lot of fun on your servers, or you would like some of this stuff to be more on Xbox and PS4, have a little bit more fun, then make sure you check out this mod. Go and vote for it right now. These smaller mods don't necessarily get as much attention as the big build mods or the creature mods, but certainly I think it's a great addition. Go and give it a vote. Creature mods are probably going to be some of the most popular, as these are the ones you've seen most YouTubers use and play on. ARK Parados is actually magic. That's what it stands for, Parados, and you can see from the crazy look of some of these creatures how they're so highlighted in different colours. That is the order of the day. Lots of these creatures have elemental attacks. They've got elemental ways that you may even have to tame them. There's all sorts of things going on with these, and it's really fun and colourful. And I like the idea that they're adding more elements to it. It's not just creatures though. There's plenty of items. You need specific stuff sometimes to tame them or to help progress, like potions. It really adds more of a magical fantasy world to ARK Survival Evolved, especially with all these big sized dinosaurs like the dodo and the snail, and of course some of the bosses you've seen. I did try this in the stream recently. Go and check that out if you want more information. And the next one up is RP Visual Storage. Again, a small mod that I don't think is going to get enough attention, just like the paintable furniture one. It's not as sexy as creatures or as big as buildings, but people love details. How great would it be if you could actually have a proper game of ARK where your resources actually were realistic? You had bins for all your stone, you had log piles, you had weapon racks, you had chests for certain stuff, containers for water. That's the kind of sort of thing this mod does, and it does it fantastically well. It's a small mod as well, and in my opinion, surely small mods like these have got more chance of becoming an official mod because they won't need as much work. I'm not 100% guaranteed on that, but that's the way Conan Exiles does it. They have lots of content that just changes up slightly some of the items, and they just basically repaste it and rename it. Why can't we get something like this in ARK? It'd be great to have some of this, not just roleplay, but just everyone that plays the game single player or PvE. I think it's a great little mod. This next one borrows heavily from sort of team deathmatch game modes that you're used to playing in proper PvP. ARK Arena gives you the opportunity to face off against your friends, other players in special custom matches. You can create and customize on small, tiny little area arenas like these, and go ahead and have boss battles with the mechs. That's a great concept. I think this would be amazing for people to just play it with their friends. Not every game mode needs to be official. Having this as just something that load up and have some fun, I think it's really important for ARK. And it just doesn't have that. It'd be great if it did have another extra mode where people could really get their anger out with a shotty or with a bow and arrow in a bit of PvP action. The arenas are pretty cool, still needs a fair amount of work at the moment, but I love the idea and it looks like it's pretty well suited with the bars of health and telling you exactly what's going on in terms of how much damage you're doing. So the ARK arena is a great little addition. This next one needs, God, more time than I can give it. Gaia has absolute hundreds of brand new creatures. It is another creature mod. It's also got lots of items that you use to tame and combat these, like frost arrows, all sorts of different badass weapons. There are so many sets of different creatures in this mod. You've got things like Enlightened, Frost, Ghastly, Electric, Cursed, Pavilios, loads of stuff going on. Again, much more based on that sort of magical theme or elemental theme where they've got all special abilities and you can see the bosses are different sizes. Gaia is another fantastic creature mod and I think it would add a lot more fun to single play or just unofficial modes. So it's really hard to do these without having a favourite, but for the longest of times, Castle Keeps and Forts has been the one that I'm probably going to be voting for. The mods are great, Steampunk's a close second, and then RP Visuals is probably the third, but this is really what I would love to see implemented. It just adds such a different layer, so many different components, and it's not just a building mod, they actually have armour and weapons as well, all based on medieval structure times. You've got literally things like more extra maces, different types of shields. There's so much doing with this mod and the creator is ramping up more progress. It's one of the oldest mods. He's been working this a long time. In fact, it's been in a sponsored mod program in the past, but he took a bit of time away, I do believe, just personal reasons, and now he's back putting loads of content into Castle Keeps and Forts. Who doesn't want to build some traditional proper trebuchets? Just look at that badass thing go. So I'm loving this mod, definitely the one that I'm going to be voting for, but all the other mods are great as well. Mods should transform a game sometimes, not just always complement it, and this game complements it and transforms the way that you play. So I would love to see this, even in single player, even if it was only a mod that you could play with just your friends. I think Castle Keeps and Forts is the one for me. All these creature mods are fantastic. PUGNACIA goes a little bit extra as far as I can tell with the way it makes the creatures look. Not just simply resizing and recolouring some of them or adding some weird colour schemes. It actually adds things like trees to the Brontos, as well as all sorts of mechanical looks to some of the creatures like the Spino. That's a big, huge boss. I do believe it's one of the end game bosses. There's all sorts of things going on here. Tech on creatures. It's all a bit mad. I think I really like mods that change up the game, and this does that. Personally, I'm not as big a fan of some of these adjustments. I still think some of these adjustments make it just a little bit too batshit mental, but for sure, mixing up the gameplay that much and making the mods creatures look really different and unique, that's something you should definitely applaud. Gone a lot of work into doing that, and I think that happens a lot more in this mod than some of the other creature mods. So if you really want to mix it up, or really want to change from ARK, the creatures that you're fighting against and the way they look, then definitely PUGNACIA is the map for you or the mod for you to try out. And it also comes with a handy little guide to give you what the heads up is on how to get these creatures and tame some of them as soon as you start the game. Only 3 mods left. Don't forget the maps as well, but I'm showcasing these ones today. And we have Steampunk, one of my favourite mods that I've seen, just again because it mixes up the gameplay so much. Gives you custom armour pieces, custom placeables, and custom machines like this, an air balloon. That is fantastic stuff. I love game modes or DLCs or mods that add a little bit more to the game and mix it up massively. And that's what Steampunk does. It's a little bit more niche. I don't think everyone's going to necessarily love the rusted look, but for me, Steampunk offers so much in terms of just making the game look a bit more different and outworldly. Take a look at this massive flying platform. You can actually pilot this and travel it all across the maps. It really works well when you build on it as well. You can add all sorts of structures, all sorts of things going on. The Steampunk developer is also working on mechanical creatures or steampunk creatures. In the past, I think he's shown off a bear, and lots of things are going to be happening soon, hopefully with it, where he's adding even more creatures and more ways to make the whole game geared towards Steam. Great idea, great concept, and I wish this one a lot of luck. Now, survival of the fittest is something that most players who have ever played console would love to see on the actual platform, but ARK The Final Stand may be the closest you ever get. This is heavily based, taking core bits from Survival of the Fittest and adding it and revamping it for themselves. More team sort of deathmatch style game modes, but the biggest one and probably the most interesting is Capture the Flag. Getting a bunch of dinosaurs and trying to get the other team's flag. It does have some more game modes too, and you'll notice the map is pretty big. These little arenas are quite large, so I really love the idea of this, playing different game modes, having more of that experience similar to Survival of the Fittest. So if this gets enough attention, if it gets enough love, who knows, we could see it become an official mod and it might become the successor to Survival of the Fittest. The game modes are pretty long, you do need to be a bit more dedicated with this one. But for players who really love this sort of combat and this sort of gameplay, it's the closest thing you're going to get to Survival of the Fittest. I do like the way it also visually lists everything that's going on as well in terms of players and stuff that's been happening. And you can see there's plenty of dinosaurs adding into the combat, which is pretty much the best thing about PvP combat, is the dinosaurs rather than the players. Lastly, we have human NPCs. This one I think would be great for people that love playing single player, which there are so many players that do. It adds just another layer, another complexity to it. Something lots of players have always wanted is NPCs, and I think this mod does a great job of it. It's a little bit fussy and complicated with how you control and direct them, and some of them are going to be friendly and some of them aren't, and they have peculiar quirks too. It looks a bit derpy again, the way they're just running around quite slowly, but they do tend to go off and do their own thing, and then once you tame them or once you make alliances with them, you can use them to go and gather resources for yourself. I personally don't think ARK needs NPCs. I like the idea that it's just you against dinosaurs, or go and play multiplayer. That's the whole point of ARK Survival Evolved. It is about multiplayer and joining up, tribing up with other people. But for sure, it adds another flavour. And definitely one of the most requested mods from a lot of players that I've seen over the years. So human NPCs, go and give it a vote if you like the look of that one. And that is it. That is all the featured mods. I'm not going to go through the maps. I think the maps are pretty self-explanatory. You've probably seen some gameplay, and I did kind of cover them quite a bit recently in some other videos. So go and vote. You've only got a few hours left. Make a difference. Go and help these modders out. And just FYI though, if you're wondering what map I'm voted for, it's going to be Faith. I really like the idea of this one. It's revamping the island a little bit, adding a little bit more differences to it, but changing it so much that it's almost unrecognisable. It's going to be really unique, going across landscapes that you kind of recognise but you don't. And they've just got so much going on in terms of the revamps, adding sort of extinction areas to it. I think this one can have a lot of potential if it's done right, and I really like the look of it and just that idea of revamping the island. Let me know your favourites once you've voted, guys. Pop it in the comments down below. Until next time, Rat Bags, I'll see you for another ARK news video very soon.